Hey, what's good, y'all? Fuzion here, back with another reaction video. So we got two videos, I guess, that we are reacting to in this video. This is a short of the Haliburton and Draymond, Haliburton and Giannis situation. Tyrese Haliburton's dad pulled up on Giannis at the end of the game after Haliburton hit the game-winning shot. Really good finish on Giannis there. Pause. And they advanced. So shout out to them. But this was after the game. This sort of has been going on. It seems like that there has been a lot of conversations between. I don't know why that was hard to say. Between these two. Tyrese and Giannis, and I feel like there has been a lot of trash talk like between these two teams. I guess his dad sort of felt the energy, got really into it, and this is what happened. Let's go ahead and full screen this. Again, we're viewing this on a short, so that's why it looks sort of weird. Pulled up on him. This is right after the game. So that's just sort of my bad. Yes, that's just sort of crazy that he just came up onto him right when the game ended, showed him the flag. Showed him the towel. Seems like he was just saying shit. On Twitter there was some stuff saying that he was cussing him out. He was saying all this blah blah, whatever. Trash talk, I think, is fair. It should be on the court. It should be with players, but once players' fathers, once players' parents, once fans sort of get into that trash talk, it becomes a different sort of animal, different sort of thing. Because what's the line there? Who says that you cannot say certain stuff until you gotta sue or until you gotta put somebody's hands on somebody? So that's just why that is very that's why this situation is different than player versus player. This is player versus fan plus player versus player's son. Father. So there's just a whole lot of shit that's wrapped up in this conversation. So let's go ahead and hear what Giannis has to say. Frankly, I don't really care what Tyrese Haliburton has to say. I did see what he did say. He said, he does that shouldn't have happened. Thank you for subbing, whoever did sub. He was saying that this should not have happened. There should be more of a his dad should have been more professional. Shouldn't have even done that whole situation. It was very disrespectful. So I guess I'm glad to hear that Tyrese Haliburton did say that publicly. But this is what really matters, what Giannis has to say here, because the slight was on him, not on anyone else. So let's go ahead and hear what he has to say.
To it with people after the game, it looked like you were kind of standing there by the three-point line, then all of a sudden you're in the middle of kind of everything. Just what happened kind of out on the floor after the game?
Nothing. This is the last time I'm going to say. I won't talk a lot. We lost the game. It doesn't really matter. One thing I'll say is that I believe like being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you gotta talk shit, and it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't. Okay, and that doesn't even say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort, but I remember when I won, my mom that she's never missed the games from February 11th or 13th when she came in Milwaukee against the Knicks. She never missed a game. When we won the championship, I remember my mom, she was scared to cross. She was like, am I allowed to come and hug my son? I see, except now my brother does media. For this year, he wants to come back and play.
Yes, that's telling. There's a lot that is surrounded in just that statement that he said. But first, let's go back to he's won a championship. They haven't. there's a different conversation, a different sort of energy around somebody who wins a championship than who doesn't. There's a sort of humbleness that comes alongside that because of what happens at the championship. So I think Tyrese Haliburton, shout out to the Pacers. You know, like they played well. They executed. They understood that Milwaukee was down and out, so they attacked. They kept attacking. They didn't let their foot off. So shout out to them. Giannas played well. It was still a loss. Whatever. But safe to assume, I don't think that the Pacers are going to get much farther than this. And I could see if this was a championship game where energies can be crazy. I could see if this was a game 7, energies can be crazy to where you could sort of let loose. He should have, Tyrese Haliburton's dad has been in this position before. They have been to the playoffs before. They have won games in the playoffs before. They have won series in the playoffs before, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like this should have never happened. I don't know. This is just a weird situation. I think there was trash talk just all throughout the game, and I think that his dad just got caught up into it. Parents in sports. Interesting stuff going on with that.
But like, except in that, you've never seen my family like see courtside. See, this is not something that we do. We don't. I try to keep my family away from the game. But losing the game, emotions run high. Having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized he was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think, is a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This the F we do. This. I feel like that's very disrespectful. You know, my dad. If you guys go and ask and learn, my dad's not with us no more. My dad used to come in the family room and was the most respectful person ever. You know, when you come from nothing and you work your whole life to sell stuff in the street, and your whole life you'll be scared of the police of deporting you and sending you back to your country. You have to protect your kids with all means. You create this mentality of being humble your whole life, to not kind of disrespect anybody, not make the tension high, the emotions high. So
yeah, so that's telling there. I didn't mean to pause him right there, but I did sort of break it up a little bit before he did go more into his bag. But I think that energies, I think it was just high energy. I think that, and I'm shooting him a little bit of bail, but at the same time, this should have never happened, and I believe that Giannis is fully correct in this situation. I saw that Tyrese Haliburton's dad did apologize. Whatever. Shout out to him. But at the end of the day, that was very disrespectful, in my opinion. You won. You won already. You could have been like, you know, been a part of the crowd. Instead, you came out on your own. Just on your own. And made this a one-on-one thing. So the escalation was crazy. I'm glad that Giannis didn't, I don't know, cause a problem. I don't think he's ever really been somebody that causes those type of issues, so we're good. But had that been Westbrook, had that been Draymond, had that been some of these other players, I think that would have been a different showing and a different conversation. And I think there's a lot of this players' parents getting involved overly. And this sort of is, I don't want to take this back to a LeVar, the LeVar conversation, Jaws dad conversation. There's a lot there that this is a very layered issue, I think. And I think everybody wants to be the star when the star is your child. So it starts to become a, do you know how to step back? It seems like because of AAU ball, you have to promote your child. You have to be a vocal person for your child. And then you take them into college. I mean, well, through high school, you still have to promote your child. You got to get them into college. Once they get that college scholarship, now you're promoting yourself to be a professional. Again, you are promoting, you are fighting, you are talking, you're doing a lot of talking. And then you get to the NBA, it's a completely different shit. And I don't think that parents can adjust to not talking anymore because they've had to talk so damn much. This is why. This is what it has turned into. Does that make sense? You know, I just sort of ramble there, but I felt like the advocating for your child all through these years, and now that your child has made it, a lot of these parents don't know how to take a step back and let their child, who is now a professional multi-million-dollar athlete, a part of a multi-billion-dollar company, and a face of a multi-billion-dollar team or company or franchise, you gotta let him be. And this is just a bad look, not only for you, but it will mostly fall back on Tyrese and his team. And now you sort of put a target on their back. I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna go ahead and finish this out a little bit, but yeah, interesting stuff.
Anybody can, snitch on you, say something bad about you. So when he came here, I remember, I was like, Dad, why are you so humble? Why are you going to the family room? You don't even say a word. You sit in the back. Why are you like that? Don't worry about it. Don't worry. That's how I grew up. That's what I had around. So when I see other dads, which don't disrespect me, maybe if my son play basketball, I might be in the court. I might be the one on the court, and like 20 years later, you can play this interview and say, Giannis, you're contradicting yourself. But we'll see in 20 years. But I'm talking about right now how I feel. Having somebody's dad, which I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his son, and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Okay? And I'm not the guy that points fingers, because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. So I don't want to say something, for him to say, to get fined or anything. But it's not respectful. I talked with him at the end, and I think we're in a good place.
All right, well, that's good. Shout out to Giannis' dad. Hate to hear that he did pass. I do believe that that's what he said. Yeah, not much really more to add on to that. That story about his father being sort of low-key or whatever. I know parents like that. My dad, he isn't like that. I'm sure he would be if I was a professional anything, a professional basketball player, football player, speaker, anything, like whatever the fuck, he would be someone who would be a loud parent. That's just how he is. He enjoys seeing you do well, and he also enjoys coaching, and he enjoys coaching you when you fuck up. That's just how he is. So, but I don't think he would have done what Tyrese Haliburton's dad did. On the flip side, I think my fiance's dad probably would have went in there. So, yeah, I just think there is a conversation, and should be a conversation, around parents in the NBA and what they should and shouldn't be doing. Of course, they should know at this point, but I think they just have to be told, like, hey, we got it from here. You can still be at the games, you can still support all this, all that, but we got it from here. LeBron's mother, kudos. She did a lot to get LeBron to where he is at. And now that he's there, she's doing a lot of background work, but you don't see her wilding out. Steph Curry's dad and mother, they're, you see them, but they're not wilding out. Kevin Durant's mom. So it's just, there is a different level of professionalism that not only players have to tap into, but also the people around them. And of course, I'm speculating. I don't know any professional basketball players. I'm not a professional basketball player. I don't think anybody in my family will be one anytime soon. But I understand professionalism. So yeah. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I may do a double upload today. The Lakers are playing. I sort of want to get a little pregame conversation going about them. What they need to do to figure it out. How they can sort of extend this to a Game 6. I do think that the Timberwolves are playing well. Last game, they had Ant to sort of do everything for them. But I don't think Ant can do that again, and I think that LeBron is going to have a really good game tonight. I'll talk about that later. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.